Sayın Başkan Yardımcısı, Sayın Muhteşem, Sayın Emre'yim, değerli hocalarım, sevgili öğrenciler, hepiniz tekrar hoş geldiniz. Bugün çok önemli bir konuyu ele alacağız. Müsaadenizle biraz da Arapça anlatmam gerekiyor. السادة الحضور أهلا وسهلا بكم. اليوم سيكون لدينا موضوع مهم جدا يتعلق بالدبلوماسية التركية الحديثة أو الدبلوماسية العامة اللي نسميها من خلال الأفلام التركية والمسلسلات التركية. حسب ما تعلمون أن الأفلام والمسلسلات التركية ببيروت وبالعالم العربي من أهم الأفلام والمسلسلات التي يأخذ حيزا كبيرا في هذه المنطقة. فقبل أن نبدأ بالمحاضرة مع الأستاذة سينام'a سيلقي كلمة قصيرة نائب رئيس معهد يونس أمن من أنقرة وصل اليوم. فأشكركم مرة أخرى. Sayın Başkan Yardımcı, buyurun size bir söz hakkı verelim. Buyurun.
Kısa bir hoş geldiniz diyeyim ben de. Sayın Müsteşarım, Sayın Muhteşem, kıymetli akademisyenler, değerli öğrenciler, dünyaya Türkçeyi, Türk dilini ve kültürünü öğretmek isteyen bir enstitünün temsilcisi olarak aranızdayım. Hepinize hoş geldiniz diyorum. By introducing Turkish, I think I can return to English at the moment because I don't want to disturb Cengiz Bey for translation. For a small explanation, Yunus Emre Enstitüsü was founded in 2009, although it was set up for a short time before. At the moment, the institute is operating within 38 countries and with 44 branches in the world. Basically, our mission is to promote Turkish language, Turkish culture and art throughout the world, to open the blocked cultural diplomacy channels or canals. We try very hard. In a year, throughout the world, we just realize about 700 cultural activities. Our intention is not to make the coercive diplomacy. However, our intention is to apply the attractive diplomacy. Our purpose is to win the hearts and the minds of the people, not the propaganda. Whatever or whoever the person is may enter the institute. Either he or she can learn the language, either he or she can just sip a cup of tea or coffee. So there are very strong historical and literary connections between some countries. Lebanon is a country like this. We have very strong ties. Historically, nobody can deny this. In terms of the language, in terms of the art, in terms of the historical heritage. So Yunus Emre Institute could be, I hope, hopefully, a center or a home of connecting the people once again. Senem Hanım, I think, will present. I don't want to violate his time. Once, let me underline one point. When a country is mentioned, we would like to see from the map. It would make us very happy. And then it has changed. And then the picture atlases or picture books were printed, and then we were very excited to see what the country is, how the people is and what the Africa is like. And nowadays it has changed a lot. When you enter push a button in Google, you will see a continent, you will see a country, you will see a house, you will see a street in detail. So the countries and the continents, the countries, the people came together, and the world is like one similar nation. However, the diplomatic crisis and upheavals are going on in the world today, but we are not after the wars, we are not after the conflicts, we are after the negotiation, we are after the peace. And to set up the peace in the world, language and culture is the key element, which is called as cultural diplomacy. So once again, on behalf of myself and on behalf of my institute, I'd like to say welcome you all. I hope we will get benefited from this profound explanation. So with your permission, I just call Süleyman'a to the floor. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Director of Yunus Emre Institutes, and thank you all the guests. Thank you, Cengiz Bey, for facilitating this wonderful talk. Hopefully that will be a discussion we're going to have. And I'd also like to welcome the honorable guest from the Turkish consulate embassy. Sorry, I come from a region where there's a Turkish consulate that's in Los Angeles, so I apologize for, I've been jet lagged for the last 24 hours because I traveled for, I don't know, maybe over 20 hours, so I do apologize for that, and hoping to have a great discussion with all the guests here. I'm honored to be speaking at the Yunus Emre Institute for the second time, for the first time in Beyrut and second time overall. My first talk was in Brussels. Again, another wonderful organization that's doing a lot to build bridges between the local communities and the Turkish language and culture. So I would like to thank you again for all your hard work that I've been following through your newsletters and online, and I will hopefully see more about it tomorrow and the next day while I'm here. Let me actually talk about a little bit about how my personal experience with Beyrut. I believe a lot of the participants are from here, other than, right, Beyrut? Yes. Well, my first time in Beyrut was 2010. That was 5 years ago, and there was no Yunus Emre Cultural Institute at that time. If there was, I would definitely stop by. But at that time, I just started to learn about Turkey's cultural exports, the soap operas, and how they were actually making a big difference in this part of the world and elsewhere. So I really enjoyed my 5 days in Beyrut, and I traveled to Baalbek, I traveled to all those Grota, yes, a wonderful country and wonderful food, wonderful people to be sure. I'm looking forward to experience all that again this coming week. But besides that, I went to a supermarket on, I believe, Hamra Street, and then I heard this jingle of the song, and it was from a Turkish soap opera. I turned towards the TV, and the lady was like, "Are you Turkish? Do you know what happens to Summer? Does she kill herself? Is that true? Why did she die?" And so she said she sent her daughter and son-in-law to honeymooning in Istanbul. I was really surprised. I had no idea these shows had this much effect. I read it some places in the newspaper, but before I actually saw with my two own eyes and actually interacted with this person, I wouldn't believe it. I really wouldn't believe it. And then that's how I actually started my research on the Turkish cinema and the TV series. And hopefully now you can give me some feedback too on how it has affected your lives, if any. Let me start with something that's a little bit cheesy maybe, but so this is me in 1990s. This is how I grew up. Since I'm going to talk about cultural diplomacy and the effect of culture, in the 1990s, I grew up with this show. And I did not live in Beverly Hills. I lived in Ankara, Turkey. But this is what I knew when I thought about America. Is this true? Is this a true reflection of America? Not really. It's the same. Turkish soap operas are not true, genuine reflection of what Turkey stands for. But then again, what does a country stand for? This show or other shows are just images to attract young viewers, to attract everybody, to portray specific country image. And because of this show, every day, me and my friends would talk about this. Talk about going to America, talk about going to shopping in America. So we learned relationships from this show. We learned how people interact from this show. So we also formed a specific image of American young people through this show. But again, after years, I realized this is only one part of the community, and it does not definitely reflect the whole American society. It's diversity, for instance, or how people live, the income gap. And we do have an American in the audience, if he wants to come up and say something. So a second one, this is old school. Anybody know about these two shows, by the way? Beverly Hills 90210. Anybody watched this when they were younger? Okay, great. What do you think about that? Oh, sorry. So what did you think about the Beverly Hills show? Was this America? Like hardcore America or no?
No.
No? Okay. What about this one? Zach Morris? Kelly? No? Did anyone watch this show? I did. No? Okay. Was this something in Lebanon? Is it big in Lebanon? No. This was a very famous American teenage show, and it was airing in Turkey back in early 90s, mid 90s. That's when I was growing up. So this is again something that has influenced me, I believe, a lot. So another thing. This is Escrava Isaura. This is what I saw my parents watch every day. This was a Brazilian soap opera. Anybody know about this one, by any chance? Turks do, yes, but none of the Lebanese? Okay. This is an image. This show portrayed a certain image about Brazil. One, their racial problems. Two, again, racial problems, and there's slavery, and how love is portrayed in a certain way, and sexuality can be expressed in many different, more obscure ways, or more explicit ways. I apologize. This is the first time I witnessed something from Brazil, and I was very little back in the day, and it still sticks to me. When I remember Brazil, when somebody says Brazil, this is the first image. So again, tying this back to the Turkish ones, we're going to have a discussion on whether these shows and programs, even the cinemas, have the capacity to project the true image of a country. Okay, another one. This is from Mexico. Rich people cry too. Turks know this for sure. Anybody from Beyrut? No? Interesting how that these shows from Latin America have become famous in Turkey, and I think same could be said about Turkish soap operas becoming famous in its own regional cultural proximity, such as Lebanon, or Qatar, or Syria, or its region, the Balkans.
Maybe yes, you should have seen, but not under this name.
Yes.
It's translated in Arabic.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, I think.
Oh, do you remember?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
so.
it was very famous actually. So all of these shows, this one, the Escrava Isaura and Los Ricos También Lloran, they all projected a certain image of their home countries, Brazil and Mexico. And all the time, it's either a rich girl, poor guy, or vice versa, or it's a rich guy and poor girl. At the end of the day, these are not concrete